Hello, and welcome to this week's Schreiber Council meeting. There will be a presentation on the status of the new strategic plan. The CAO gave a summary of the recent AMO conference in Ottawa, and the Director of Operations report highlighted the completion of various projects. Now here is this week's agenda. Thank you for watching.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're in Robinson Superior Treaty Territory and that the land on which we gather is traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Métis. Can I have approval of agenda for tonight's open agenda? I do have one add-on, and it under department reports, the Treasury report. Capital budget variance. That'll be number 10 in the committee of the department reports. Anything else for add-ons?
No.
Hearing none, any disclosures of interest? Okay. No disclosures of interest, so we'll move on. We do have a delegation from McSweeney of the strategic plan. So I'll let them, I'll get out of the way. Am I in the way here?
Thanks everyone for having us here. Truly this plan has been a lot of fun to work through. Obviously not all fun and games. Lots of hard work with Kim and the team, but truly it's been lots of fun working with the township. Absolutely thrilled to be here presenting this plan. So not that we need to explain this to folks around the table, but it's always important when we build these plans to ground ourselves. And to that end, we want to always remember township provides a significant number of services to its citizens, governed by the mayor and elected council. And you folks set priorities and direct the affairs of the township with assistance from staff. So it's really important to remember that as we build this strategy. Question becomes, and for those of you who are in focus groups for the working session, you've heard this spiel, but why a strategy? The strategy is all about equipping the township to determine future priorities. It assists with infrastructure planning, budget development, establishes a framework for development of other municipal plans, and assists in guiding the township in decision-making, planning, and execution of key initiatives. It's important to understand this isn't budget line by budget line. It's a foundational document. It has core goals and actions that help the township be prepared as opportunities arise over the next set of years. And so, yes, there are key goals, yes, there are key actions that come out of this, but it's also about having that framework for any sort of decision and making that arises. So what makes it a success? My colleague Nancy always says, I really need a better way to say this. So obviously, we do lots of hard work, but I'd like to say this point here is where the hard work truly begins. The success of the strategic plan depends on the community taking a role in implementing the actions. It's a township-led initiative, but the community has to embrace that 5-year community strategic plan. Without staff community engagement, this goes nowhere. It looks pretty on a shelf, but the actions aren't implemented and nothing gets done. And so this is where that hard work to transition it into a success begins. And we truly believe this is a realistic and doable action plan, but it's up to the community to hold accountable staff and council. With that, a community vision and the mission on the next page, they again help to ground this strategy as more than just a string of actions coming together. but actually pieces that are implemented and providing a clear understanding of where Schreiber sees itself heading. So for that, the community vision statement is about growth for the community. The township will proactively promote and enhance the unique Schreiber experience, will pursue new business and community-based opportunities, establish strategic alliances with nearby communities, and then together position Schreiber to act on opportunities in keeping with the strong quality of life locally. To that end as well, the community mission is to respond to community needs and provide services with pride and respect in a friendly manner to the best of our abilities. So this just provides daily guidance for staff and council when considering actions and reflects what we've heard throughout the engagement of this strategy. With that, the strategy itself is built around 4 strategic focus areas. So building relationships, which reflects a desire to engage within the corporation, within the community, the broader alliances of organizations within and outside of Schreiber, and other levels of government. So community enhancement, understanding that Schreiber residents were incredibly proud of where they live, but quality of life can always be improved and supported. Environmental development, taking an active role in promoting and protecting Schreiber's natural beauty and assets. And then economic development, developing a diverse and sustainable economic base. Finally, before getting into the meat of the process we took and the goals and actions derived, we wanted to highlight some principles that are positioned to guide staff as they fulfill the actions in the strategy. And again, as that foundational document, these principles help with decision making that comes from new situations that may arise. No matter what the question or decision to be made over the next 5 years, the idea is these principles help staff and council and residents remember the core principles of the township, both internally and externally. So to be an effective team, to be resilient and to get the job done, be accountable to each other, to managers and the council, collaborate and to look after each other in order to accomplish shared interests and goals, and then above all, provide exceptional customer service. So what was the process that we took? We built out a 4-step process, beginning with discover, where we sort of research the community from what I like to call a bird's eye view, define, so consultations with the community, and then developing the actual plan, working with Kim and staff to really hone in on what makes sense for the community, and then the stage we're at right now, which is deliver, presenting the results and working on an implementation plan. With respect to discovering the community, I'm a data nerd, I love data, so this is really where I came through to shine, but it's all about researching the community, understanding from a stats and data perspective what makes the community tick. So things like demographic analysis, an economic analysis of what industries are thriving in Schreiber and where there's room to grow, and pieces like that provide a bird's eye view of the community that can then be supported by those qualitative consultations later on. In the define stage, we had 128 community stakeholders participate in the consultation process. That's tremendous outreach as a part of the community and as a percentage of the community. Truly fantastic numbers. Input was gathered from representatives from township staff and elected officials to tourism organizations, businesses, local community organizations, regional service providers, residents, neighboring First Nations, and other organizations. It included an online survey, one-on-one interviews, and focus groups that were live in person, as you can see in the picture there. Moving to the develop stage, so we built out sort of an analysis of the community based on the consultation stages that we heard, and came up with key themes that were then discussed and turned into actions during the working session. We had 25 people attend that working session where we got a litany of great ideas. And then over the next few months after that working session, that's where we worked with Kim and her staff on virtual strategic action planning sessions. So we came through, we said, here are the actions we heard, what's realistic and doable, what makes sense for the community, what can the community deliver on, and we honed in on those actions from there. Finally, delivered. So completing the final strategy, presenting it to council here, and then after the presentation to council, we'll be working with Kim on an implementation plan. Which is really just understanding timelines for the actions, who the responsible parties may be, where the pressure points are, pieces like that, and that will live with staff to make sure that the actions in the strategy can be completed. So with that, what do we come up with? Before we do the goals and actions, there were 2 really big constraints we wanted to keep in mind. Obviously, every community has constraints. There are just realistic pieces that restrict what a community can do. But there were two really large ones in Schreiber. The first being mandatory upgrades to the sewage treatment plant that must be completed by 2026, and obviously are quite a large cost to the budget. Constraint number two is just the reality of supporting the existing municipally owned assets. So there's a current population of about 1,100 people in Schreiber, but a lot of these assets were originally built to be funded and support a population of 3,000 people. And so just naturally, there are a lot of fiscal constraints to the township that limit the actions that can be done and just constrain us to go about building the goals and actions for this strategy. And it's important to keep that in mind. So to that end, we came up with 4 key corporate goals. So goal number 1, continuing to maintain current infrastructure and services that support residents and businesses. Goal 2, increasing the housing inventory to support new residential opportunities. Goal 3, maintaining a stable staffing complement, allowing for opportunities for staff to grow careers within township. And then goal 4, update and enforce bylaws, policies, and procedures to ensure that Schreiber's done. With that, of course, we also have community goals, and this is community strategic plan. The 3 key goals: retaining and attracting people to Schreiber to ensure there's sufficient residential population to sustain the community. And then also retaining and attracting businesses to Schreiber to support those residents and visitors. And goal 3 is strengthening collaboration, building a positive community, and celebrating a successful future. So without getting into the minutiae of each of the goals, each of the actions, underneath those goals came 10 corporate focused actions and 22 doable and realistic community actions. We've really harped on the fact that these have to be doable and realistic. We get asked frequently when we build these strategic plans, how do you make sure that the actions actually get implemented and everything else? And as I outlined at the start, the reality is we can't. We can put together actions that are doable and realistic, and we truly stand behind each of the actions. And then it of course comes down to the community itself to enact them. But at this point, the actions that are put forward are ones that the community can accomplish, and they're not necessarily easy or whatever else, but the community can absolutely accomplish them over the next 5 years, pending things that we don't foresee happening, like global pandemics and whatever else. But the actions in this plan help guide the township to a stronger economy and a stronger community over the next 5 years. So to that end, that's a really brief sort of overview of the presentation or of the strategic plan. Really want to give a shout out at this point to Kim. She worked with us through the whole project, start to finish, did a tremendous job. Can't thank her enough because we work in communities often where we don't necessarily have the help and the collaboration and partnership that we did here. So really thank you, Kim, for all your help on this one. And with that, just open the floor up to whether there are any questions about any of the pieces in here or the strategic plan generally.
Can you explain the implementation plan timeline?
Yeah, so that's something that typically lives behind the scenes with staff. It's not something that goes public just because of the requirements that would come with that in terms of reporting and whatnot. We suggest a more informal reporting process. But the implementation plan takes each of the actions from within the strategy and says whether this is sort of who's responsible, whether that's a specific person within staff or the township, or if it's a partnership where it's Schreiber Township and the provincial government or neighboring townships or whatever else. And then it also highlights a general cost. So we're not budgeting it's going to cost you $35,000 to do this specific action. It's more what hypothetical cost is it? Is it a high cost to this? Is it something that's free to do and just requires staff time, pieces like that? And then a hypothetical timeline of when you'd expect to be sort of tackling this action, whether it's an ongoing action, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5, whatever else.
Okay, thank you.
So Kevin, this is something that administration will work on moving forward?
The implementation plan?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is something we will build this with Kim and Rhonda, whoever else makes sense to be helping build that. We'll work with staff to identify identify when it makes sense to put these together, and then it comes down to what makes the most sense for reporting to council. There are communities that wish to have the implementation plan public, so it can go that way. Typically, what we suggest is that the implementation plan is something that administration has, and then there's a different reporting process, whether it's quarterly or annually, that it's done differently. And that's just because with respect to fulfilling the action, there are things, whether it's partnerships or funding resources or whatever else that are just outside the control of staff. And so we don't want anybody to get hung up on the specifics of, well, this was set to take a year, but funding doesn't happen to be available this year, so it gets pushed into next year, and then become questions about why that is the case. It tends to be that it's better to have the public focus on the specific actions, and then have reports coming forward about how those actions are being tackled, and have administration behind the scenes have an understanding of potential fiscal requirements or what partners might be needed for different actions or whatever else. And so that's how we found it to be most effective. But that goes community by community. It's something we can discuss with Kim and Rhonda after, not without problem.
But this is something that you're going to facilitate?
Yes, absolutely. We will build a draft of it. That's on our team. That's not something that would fall on Schreiber staff.
Is the strategic plan that was presented to us tonight, is that in its final version? So my question being, once we approve this, that strategic plan can then be posted on our website?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay, under goal number 4, update and enforce bylaws, policies, and procedures to ensure that Schreiber is current. One of the actions you got down there is update and annually fund the 2019 Community Improvement Plan.
Yes.
We do not have a community improvement plan. We have a plan to make a plan, but we don't have one.
Yes, so this was something Kim and I batted around yesterday, and then we were just waiting on determination of the language. So it had been our understanding that there was a 2019 community improvement plan, and then a little bit behind the scenes. So we heard during consultations that this is something that folks in the community wanted, and then from a document review, we had understood that there was one. We found out that there isn't, and so the language just needs to be updated, and we are awaiting updated language on that as to whether that's something the township would like to look into or put forward, or the language on that. So we're just awaiting final wording on that.
Yeah, because I don't even think this council sitting now, I don't even think we talked about a CIP. We talked about it on the last council.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of my questions. And the other question when you first met with us, you said the community was more or less in an uproar about the pavement.
And come back.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something going on with the screen.
And I don't see anything in here about the pavement, the inactions, but we have gone out and we've got contractors coming in here, measuring pavement, measuring sidewalks, doing whatever to try and get a 5-year plan and whatnot. So I really think that should be in the strategic plan, and I've said that for the last 2 months. And I don't know if tonight's the first night you're hearing about it or what, but
No,
I mean,
so
the way it was said to us in our first meeting with you was I thought that's all we were gonna do was pave the streets.
So that was one that we talked about at length. Under goal number 1, continuing to maintain current infrastructure and services, it was our understanding that this was something that is more asset management focused and infrastructure focused and didn't fall within the purview of this strategy. And so goal number 1 was designed to allow for ample leeway to attack that problem, because yes, it's something we heard consistently, but to put that in specifically, given the departmental, given which departments oversee the paving, and the fact that without funding, there's really nothing that the township, it was our understanding that without funding, it's incredibly difficult for the township to be able to tackle this problem. Goal number 1 moves towards that without putting any specificity towards it, because it's something that's largely out of the control of the township. That's where that discussion went and why it's not in there in specific language. Yeah.
Kevin, at this point then, is it something that could be added to actions for the corporation goal number 1 that in an implementation plan? Or can we maybe add one more, I don't know, a D that says, or maybe change B that says instead of continue to fund the township's asset management plan, which by itself is one thing, but continue to explore infrastructure improvements, or you know what I mean? Something that I see what you mean about the generality of it, but something that we could assign that those types of projects too, because today it's highways and streets, which we've heard loud and clear from the public, that's what they wanted. But in another 2 years, it might be park spaces, like I don't know, or it might be, you know what I mean, that would give us a place to categorize that as a council to say, yes, that meets our strategic plan.
Yeah, that's something we can take away with Kim and Wanda and put together alongside the language change in goal 4 action B with the CIP program. We can put that in about continuing to explore infrastructure improvements and specifically note that at the moment it's sidewalk related.
Anybody else got anything? You good, Dave?
Yeah. Good.
Okay, everybody seems to be okay with it now then, Kevin?
Fantastic. So we will take away those 2 notes and work with Kim and Rhonda on those. Thank you all again for the opportunity to present. Truly do appreciate it. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Business arising from the minutes, committee of the whole recommendations, resolution 222-24. Moved by Councillor Bourgeau, seconded by Councillor McGrath. The council approve a contribution of $1,000 to Superior Country for a Lake Superior Regional Snowmobile feasibility study. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 223-24, moved by Councillor Morrow, second by Councillor Bourgeau. That whereas the job descriptions for the data analysis and the administration position has been reviewed by council, therefore be it resolved that the job description for the position is approved and is effective September 10th, 2024. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 224 -24. Moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Morrow. That whereas the job descriptions for the Economic Development Officer position has been reviewed by council, therefore it be resolved that the job description for the position is approved and is effective September 10th, 2024. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 225-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor McGrath, that whereas the job description for the accounting clerk 1 position has been reviewed by council, therefore be it resolved that the job description for the position is approved and is effective September 10th, 2024. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 226-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, second by Councilor Burgeot, that council accept the quotation from Dykstra Night Roofing and Renovations in the amount of $39,356.50 for labor and materials required to fix the arena roof. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? There goes the door.
Somebody's there.
Resolution 227-24. Moved by Councilor McGrath, second by Councilor Morrow, that council approve the appointment of Abby Barutsky to the Recreation and Festivals Committee for the term of council ending November 14th, 2026. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Welcome aboard, Abby. We were at the meeting last night, and I think we got two spark plugs there on that committee. Resolution 228 -24, moved by Councilor Burgeot, second by Councilor McGrath, that council accept the quotation from ABCS 80 Brothers Construction Solutions Limited in the amount of $35,832.66, excluding applicable taxes, to replace the air blower at Schreiber wastewater treatment plant. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. It's a resolution 229-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Bergeau that the Council of Township of Schreiber support Resolution 2024-151 of the Corporation of the County of Prince Edward with respect to a call to action to meet the deadline of an accessible Ontario by 2025. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 230-24. Moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Morrow, that the Council of the Township of Schreiber support the resolution 402-2024 of the Town of Cochrane with respect to Ontario Regulation 391/21 blue box for ineligible sources. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 231-24, moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor McGrath, that the Council of the Township of Schreiber support Resolution RC 24-166 of the Corporation of the Municipality of Wawa with respect to safe practices for the use of lithium-ion batteries. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. We want to do accounts for payment. Resolution 232-24, moved by Councilor Bergeau, seconded by Councilor Morrow, that checks issued on the general bank account in the month of August 2024 in the amount of $588,801.42 for general accounts payable be approved and ratified.
One question, on the first page under the B's, proposed under day, just didn't recognize that name. For $24,666.
What for that?
Proposed, it's under the B's, but it's
Oh,
actually.
that's the, Investor Drive brushing.
Okay, all right.
And Marlene, check number 28632 to exterior finishing, is that the medical center roof?
Did you say 28632?
Yeah.
It's the only roof they've done for us.
Two 8632. Yep, that's the medical center roof.
That's the medical. And then there's two checks, one on August 29th and one on August 30th. Both to GFL. I'm guessing that was to do the work for our state of emergency, yes? Do you want check numbers?
What is the vendor code?
The vendor code is GFL ENV001.
So we have,
I'm only asking because they were back to back like a day apart and they're pretty substantial.
okay, so we have check number 28667
Yeah,
for $52,959.96 was resolution 19424. That's the clarifier 2 pumping.
okay,
And then we have 28659, that's dated August the 29th. That's the state of emergency clarifier number 2 grit and chlorine channel.
okay,
And then we have check 28659, dated August the 29th for $27,123.61. That's the state of emergency clarifier number 2.
okay. Thanks, Marlon. Dave?
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 233 -24, moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Morrow, that bank debits issued on the general bank account in the month of August 2024 in the amount of $67,671.89 for payroll be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 234 -24, moved by Councilor Vergeau, second by Councilor McGrath, that bank debits paid out of the general bank account in the month of July 2024 in the amount of $47,385.08 be approved and ratified. Discussion?
I just wanted to extend another thank you to Marlene for providing details on that MasterCard. When the accountants ask us, have you reviewed every expense, we can say, yes, we have. Thank you, Marlene.
No problem.
All those in favor? Carried. No unfinished business, and move on to other business. Resolution 235 -24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Vergeau, that the Township of Schreiber bursary in the amount of $500 be awarded to Spencer Bryson. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 235,
236.
236 -24. Moved by Councilor McGrath, second by Councilor Vergeau, that council authorize a donation to Superior Stars Minor Hockey in the amount of $50 in memory of Linda Bryson. All those in favor? Carried. So now we'll move on to our committee of the whole portion of the meeting. And first thing on the agenda is the monthly report, CAO/clerk.
I just wanted to update council on a little bit about our state of emergency. So we've had many repairs take place since the state of emergency was called on August 1st. Clarifier 2 is now back online and processing our waste as it should be. GFL is currently draining, well, they finished since I wrote this, Clarifier 1. They've cleaned it. And our effluent numbers are certainly getting better, so that's a good sign. But we are still not out of the woods with the plant itself. But I think Tammy will elaborate on that in her reporting. Our summer students are done now for Public Works, Recreation, and our Discovery Center. They did a really good job, and it's always a pleasure having students hang out with us over the summer period. Kim is working on 5 different funding streams at the moment that will have good benefits for the community all around. And I just want to say that this last month, I myself have really been focused on the state of emergency, and that the AMO conference was very beneficial and provided us with positive feedback that will benefit the community as a whole. Any questions on that one?
Under finance, Rhonda, we're talking about starting to prepare for last year's, and I know we've been kind of put on hold. Do we have any timelines on that ARO report?
Oh, the asset retirement obligations, yeah. So actually, we've been working with PSD, Marlene, Tammy, and myself, with a couple of fellows from there. I do believe they're near completion.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was just a couple of clarifying questions that they had about certain assets, but it's well underway.
Because that's really the only holdup to having your 2023 finished, is that report. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Okay, I'll move on to the request Superior Country Office space. request.
So, Mr. Bevilacqua have approached our office to secure space for their new full-time representative to work and hold meetings. They don't require a large space, just as, a desk area where someone can sit with a laptop and have access to internet and hold the occasional meeting if there is necessary. The staffer could easily use room 124 as the necessary space, provided that, they are not there the days that drive test is there, which is only once a month. So it doesn't seem to be a problem with them. But I would like to recommend to council that we do allow Superior Country to use that room as a goodwill gesture without rent. I think it's a good collaboration and a good, just a good opportunity for the township and Superior Country to work together.
So, Rhonda, how many days a week would they be using that room?
Monday through Friday.
So 5 days a week?
Yeah.
If there were an opportunity that we could rent out 124, are we still going to be able to do that?
Yes.
Or will taking this on cause us not to be able to rent room 124?
No, we had talked to Mr. Bevilacqua about that, because we do rent that room out on occasion. And he said that, as long the person could even sit in council chambers if it wasn't occupied, just as long as they had a place to sit with their laptop and access to the internet. That was all they cared.
So it's not a case of we're going to have to move furniture out of there to get.
No, not at all.
We're not getting into someone's private office or.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be no file storage, just a table to sit at, and that's it.
Okay. Okay.
Good. I'm good with
Yeah,
that.
it sounds good.
Okay, we're good with that? Okay, and number 3 is your AMO conference report.
The annual conference was very exhausting, but I think it was really good. We had a lot of great conversations. On Monday, we did meet with the NDP caucus regarding the AV Terrace Bay Mill closure and also our wastewater treatment plant and the condition that it's in. We got some really well, I'm gonna say positive, but I think one of the MPPs that was present, Jennifer French, was quite horrified at some of the pictures that we showed her, which really resonated with her because she approached us later in the conference to discuss it even further. So that was good. We did talk to the Associate Minister of Forestry regarding the Terrace Bay mill closure. Just before AMO started, they did a cabinet shuffle. So we were supposed to meet with Nolan Quinn, but so unfortunately, Minister Holland, he had a general background of what was going on with the mill, but didn't have a lot of detailed information with just being thrown into the role. So we can certainly understand that. Mayor Mullins and I had a chance to meet with the Liberal caucus at their reception on Monday in the evening. We had a brief conversation with Bonnie Crombie regarding the state of the wastewater treatment plant. We did provide her with a delegation package, and hopefully she's had a chance to read that. We also got to meet with Hydro One on the 20th regarding the status of our aging infrastructure and how it's affecting Schreiber from receiving high-speed internet and cable within our region. So they were kind of shocked at some of the pictures. We made sure we took good pictures, especially of the one pole with the ratchet straps. Yeah, to show them, you know, I kind of made the comment that I would be embarrassed if I was Hydro One to have my name on the straps. So hopefully that resonated. We did hear back from them since the conference. She assures us that they will look into it, and hopefully we'll hear something in the future, but we got our point across. We also had a chance to speak with different agencies during the trade show. Aqua was one of them. They had a good representation at the conference, which was really beneficial in our current situation. So I had a good conversation with the Vice President of Operations, Jeff St. Pierre, and the Director of Business Development, John Kingsbury, along with the Business Development Manager, Ted Smider. So they, I showed them some of the photos that we have been taking and made them aware of certain maintenance issues within the plant, and they have agreed to sit down with us a little bit later once we get the plant kind of back online and just discuss what happened and where we're going to go from here forward. So that was really well worth it. We did have the suggestion from a couple of ministers while we were at the conference that we should apply for the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund. Now, this fund is associated with developing housing in our community. However, we're going to say in the application that we have no intentions of developing housing at this time, that we could never support new community members without getting the wastewater plant, you know, back to online. So that's going to be our focus. We did have a conversation also this week with NOHFC, who is not a part of that grant, but he is offered to help us with the writing of the application, which I think was awesome. And we're meeting with Minister Surma this next Friday. Sorry. And we had a conversation next Thursday. Sorry. And we had a conversation last week with the Minister of Infrastructure's office, Sean Fraser, on the federal side, which went very well. We haven't heard back anything from our discussions, but we won't stop until we've exhausted every avenue. Are there any questions about the conference?
Excellent. Yeah, beautiful. But just one question on Mr. Petru. Has he, that sounds really interesting.
The 5 colleges?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds real interesting. Have you had any communication with him since?
I have not. I did send him an email saying that, you know, I would definitely like to talk further with him about that. It was just a fluke.
Yeah.
We were just sitting at a lunch,
Yeah.
and he happened to sit down beside me And that struck up a conversation and it was like, oh, well, this is exciting.
Yeah, sometimes that's how things happen. It was,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
A little bit of luck.
For sure.
It was a busy 4 days, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But it was good, you know, because you could gather up information, bring back to staff, you could talk to people, it was good.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that we did find out though was that Schreiber is not, and we already knew this, but we are not the only community that is suffering this fate with wastewater. And that many small communities, not just in Northern Ontario, can't afford the
In Ontario.
dechlorination upgrades that the government has mandated. It's sad.
Okay, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Director of Operations status report, Tammy.
So as Rhonda pointed out, the wastewater plant has definitely been all-consuming, coordinating all of the contractors down there and making sure that everything is happens sequential. Further to Rhonda's point about the effluent numbers, we are seeing huge improvements, but I got the non-compliance too late to add it to this meeting, but we'll see it on the next. We will continue to see those non-compliances until we reach the quarter mark because it's an average. So although the numbers are low and they're bringing our average down, it's going to take some time to have that running average.
Just because of the math of it.
That's correct.
Okay.
But the numbers are well below the parameters at this point. So the process at the plant has improved immensely. Our effluent numbers have improved and the smell has definitely improved.
So now you're changing your focus because we've been told, right? Our original plan was to do 2, but they said, no, you must do 1 and 2. So our focus now is completing repairs to number 1?
Yes,
Good,
the
okay.
MECP has given us very specific directions
Right,
that both clarifiers must be operated in parallel.
right.
Did Vector find anything today or can you?
Well, as a matter of fact, they have.
He said repairable.
We were quite concerned. Upon a visual inspection, nothing obvious came to light. So we were pretty concerned that we wouldn't find anything. However, they prepared for some injection sites along the bottom. The water stop looked like it was shrinking and broken away from the concrete, so that kind of put up a little red flag for us. So they started there. And so what they do is they drill on an angle in the wall down towards the floor, and they'll pump the epoxy, whatever material it is that they use, they'll pump it down and fill that void. They got to one area of the wall and they pumped in 5 gallons of material. So there was a very large hole in the wall.
So was it like, because you can't see it, Tammy, was it tucked in behind?
It was in the center. So what happens is the water was coming in from the clarifier, kind of bubbling up, and you know how water erodes?
Yeah,
Created a large void in the wall, which was allowing large amounts of water to come into the digester. Further to that, they also were looking at the pipe penetrations, and they've only looked at the one so far because they were busy with the floor.
Right.
But the pipe penetration from the digester to the aeration tank, he went to put his cleaning solution in there, and normally they would inject that cleaning solution from both sides of the wall. In this case, the cleaning solution went right through the wall. So clearly that was a breach as well. So we're discovering a lot that we can certainly make a lot better. And we've got a plan that we can test the chamber after we think we've got them all.
but it's repairable, it doesn't have to be replaced.
Well, no, I won't say that.
Okay.
Because it is repairable, but keep in mind that the concrete is still 50 years old. And because we had a breach in the concrete here, doesn't mean that further down won't happen down
Okay.
there too. It is 50 years old. it has lived its life, expected life, span in concrete. So I can't promise that we're totally out of the woods. I can just fix it for the time being.
So all this other stuff too, Tammy, pumped and cleaned, influent grit channel, cleaned chlorine contact chamber, that's maintenance that should be done regularly and possibly wasn't done, or?
So all of those things contributes to the effluent numbers.
Okay.
So we cleaned it all so that when we go back into process, and hopefully we get a healthy process happening, and it seems that we're headed in the right direction, we wanted to make sure that we didn't have something coming down the line or leaving the line was going to hinder our efforts. So all of it was pumped out and cleaned. Certainly while we had the professionals on site, so we knew that we were starting fresh with the treatment process. So the 80 brothers are also still on site down there. They've replaced some of the pipes and gaskets that are in the pipes, making sure that all of that is in good shape and that we're not gonna come across any other issues when we go to fire it up. So we know of a hairline crack that's in the air distribution line in the scum chamber. We found a large hole in the airlift pipe in the digester, so they're replacing that pipe. They're replacing gaskets as they find that they're deteriorated, so they're doing a really great job for us down there.
So it's sounding more and more like this system failure failed across like several platforms.
50 years. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, all right, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not like, it's been
It
failing and
wasn't
it's just
any
finally
one
let go.
thing. Yeah, yeah. It was a conglomerate of different layers of the whole process.
So the vents, they were replaced?
The roof vents,
Yeah,
the roof vents are replaced as part of the Automation Now. Automation Now was also supposed to change the vents around the perimeter of the clarifiers.
yes.
Which was the actuators and the motors to move the fins. When we got into it, we've discovered that the fins are so rusted in place that no motor will ever move it. So we've had to, they've given us a credit on the actuators and they're ordered all new vents so that we can just to replace the whole thing.
And does that have to be done before the whole plant can be brought back online again? Or can that be done later?
It will be, no, the process can happen, but we want to get those installed before winter. Because right now we're leaving the door open for fresh air ventilation because of the gases.
Right.
So once we have to close up and seal up the building, we
It
want
was,
to make sure that we can vent some of those gases out.
Okay.
And we've also been problem solving some of the issues with the blower. We've got the butterflies in that,
I see that.
butterfly valves in now.
Oh, they're in now?
Yep, and the 80 brothers started installing them today. We've got the VFD guru down from Thunder Bay with Automation Now. So he was problem solving that end of it. We had the 80 brothers from the mechanical side. So together they were trying to, they were not going to leave it until they got it running.
Made a lot of progress in a short period.
Oh,
Good
It's
work.
been a
no
whirlwind.
doubt. I can't imagine how you're even attempting to get anything else done. This has got to be, it's like so much work.
Yeah, it has been consuming, but
Yeah.
great rewards as we move forward and
Yeah.
accomplishing and
A lot of frustration.
I can well imagine.
A lot of, I mean, you're gonna talk about the smart meter was installed on the, that we ordered in January.
Oh, it's actually installed now?
It
Right,
has
yes.
been installed,
That's the water plant.
at the water plant. We are just waiting now for automation to come back and do the programming to tie it into the SCADA.
Okay,
So it's not operational yet, but we're making strides there too.
okay,
And as you can see, all 5 filters are now in operation there.
perfect.
Yeah. Nick Kyle from MECP, he has started our water audit. So he's already requested a bunch of information from us for the distribution side of things.
Okay,
And I'm also aware that they have, he's doing a lot of it electronically, so he's requested the same kind of information from Aqua.
okay.
And that report looks good, from, flows and tank level.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that has been a real asset for us to have. It certainly gives us a clear indication of any leaks in our system when you can compare your lows versus your highs. And it gives us also a peace of mind as we watch the tank levels in comparison to water usage that naturally goes up in the summertime.
yeah, like honest, I think this means more. Like this gives us more information than just saying, well, this is how much output we had in the month of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because you can actually see on a month basis, day to day, what's going on.
right.
There's a story on it.
But that's
I'll
good.
go back on it later, but I just want you to know August 23rd. So you look down your tank level.
Okay,
August 20th, so you look at all the, everything's a high percentage. August 23rd is when filter 2 came back online, when they fixed filter 2, the final piece. And like Tammy was,
so it was running fine. The
And the
numbers were
first-
high.
and the first reports that we got, there was enough information that gave us, we knew that there was no huge leaks. So I believe Tammy gets that at 4:30 every morning.
Yeah, it's automated.
It's goes right to her phone,
Yeah,
and it's priceless.
Yeah,
it's actually 9 pages long.
She can run different sections of the, like, not run, but she can keep an eye on different sections of the system.
Yeah.
With just that information.
Every
Tell me.
aspect of the plant is covered, 9 pages worth.
Yeah, it was definitely, like the mayor said, it was definitely a fight to get that information readily available on a daily basis, but we have it now and it's all good. Yeah. But I think though, if we can go back to the wastewater plant though for just a sec, I just want council to know that we're definitely going to have conversations and look into where maintenance did fail. A lot of these issues, even though the plant is 50 years old, did not just happen overnight. And, you know, I think it's very important that there's some more stringent maintenance efforts going forward, or we're gonna be back in the same boat, whether it's a new plant or this one.
and I would think at some point when the plant's up and running and everything's going well, that you guys will be able to draw a line and give us a dollar amount of what exactly this state of emergency has cost us.
Oh, for sure, yes,
Okay,
for sure.
fair. I mean, and now it's probably like, you're in the middle of it and you're in the thick of it, I get it, but we can expect to see that at some point, yes?
Oh, of course, yes.
Absolutely, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll be dealing with that for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the inspector said, both clarifiers will be up and they have to operate both clarifiers.
Yes. Okay.
Number 5, the vector quotes. You gonna do that one, Tammy?
Sure.
Or can I talk to everybody about that too? Okay, so Tammy,
So we've got some quotes, for the medical clinic. The landing needs to be replaced. We do have money in the budget for that. But the sidewalk coming off the back side of that landing is also in very poor shape. So, that is an added expense that, we'd like to replace that short piece of sidewalk. So Vector is, planning to be here, in the very near future. So he will give me a heads up when he plans to do that. I'll make arrangements with the medical clinic to redirect their foot traffic to the back door for entrance. And we'll have to chain this off, flag it off, barricade it while the work is being done there.
So originally on the capital request, we had the $10,000
Yes.
to do that and replace the walkway section. We'll now change this to $13,715
Yes,
to do the medical center and get that complete.
yes.
Okay. And the current ramp that's there, that we're fixing, that does meet updated AODA standards, right?
At the medical clinic,
Like the slant and the grade is right?
yes, the slope is correct. The interlocking brick is also in bad shape, and I will want to at some point replace that. It doesn't have to be as wide as it is. It does need to be at least 4 feet wide to
Okay.
meet the AODA standards.
Okay.
But I'll get a price for that so that we can put it in 2025 budget
Capital
for
budget? Okay.
yeah. Consideration.
So that then would be the medical center completed.
Yes.
Okay.
And then at the municipal complex, we have a couple issues here. The front ramp, wheelchair ramp is cracked, badly cracked at the end of it and creating quite a trip hazard. We are going to Band-Aid that, if you will, for this year so that we can put it in 2025 budget to replace the entire pad at the foot of that ramp and sections of the ramp where it's lots of big cracks and
Okay.
trip hazards. So he's already given me a price that we can throw into the 2025 for consideration.
Okay.
That
That makes good sense, because that to me was like, okay, we haven't got it.
Right.
But I think for next year, definitely. If
Right.
you can bandage up that problem, I certainly don't want to see it fall.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
When you patch concrete like that, it really is a short fix, but it'll work for the winter for sure. And then you'll see that that rubber mat in all of the vestibules are trip hazards, and they're really difficult to find suppliers. I did, however, find suppliers, but then when you get into custom sizes, whew, does the price ever go up? So it's actually cheaper to have Vector fill those little indents, level the floor, and then we can put whatever kind of carpet we want in there. So that's quoted out as vestibules on your quotes.
And does that necessarily have to be done now, or can this wait for 2025?
That has been identified as a health and safety,
Okay.
so I can't ignore that.
Is there money in health and safety for this town?
Not enough for that.
Okay.
And then the back stairs in this building are the steps that the senior citizens use as the entrance to their center.
So we're talking which door?
That one back here. Yeah.
That one there, not this rear door to
No,
the
I'm
foyer,
talking about, by the quilting room.
the hallway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the stair nosing is all crumbled and broken away and is a health and safety issue as well. But we can address that when we do the renovation that we're planning back there, along with the door operators.
So we could roll that amount into that project
Yes,
that we've already been approved for.
yes.
The vestibule, you mean?
So the only outstanding issue is this vestibule?
Yes.
And we can't roll the vestibule into that grant?
She might be able to roll the back vestibule in, but I don't think you get the foyer ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. I do.
They're not.
I think she could I think you could roll this back hallway entrance vestibule in.
That's not, no, I thought that's just staring at it.
No, but there's, she's making that accessible, so she could declare, I mean, it would be really hard to get it, I'm sure a wheelchair would be stuck in there pretty easy.
Oh, easy,
So
yeah.
she could probably take that vestibule and include it in that as the ODA repair, but these two, she won't. So she might, if you thirded that, it's 2,200 she might save on that. She might get her down to 4,500 to get the two fronts, the front and the back to the foyers poured.
Mhm.
Have you looked into that, Tony? Is there room within that update in the back to include 2,200 for that vestibule back there?
Yes. Yes. And there might even be, if you consider that, then there might even be that much in the health and safety fund. I'll have to confirm that tomorrow.
the
To
4,400?
get the other two vestibules covered.
Good alternative.
So we're good with the medical center,
We're good with the medical center.
and we're good with the, is that project gonna go this year, Tammy, or here, the stairs and ramp?
Yes,
Okay, so-
yes, I can arrange for that to be completed this year, because we are concerned
Okay,
about
and
the
then,
steps.
and then our guys are gonna take care of the front ramp for this year, the time being.
Correct.
And the other work will get done this year too. Vector will do the other work this year too. Okay.
So outside of the medical center, the only other amount that you would be looking for approval for would just be the two foyer vestibules in case health and safety doesn't have the money.
Correct.
So there's no other amounts in here we need to be worried about.
No.
Good pictures, by the way. No, seriously.
Good.
But we can expect to see the front ramp on a 2025 capital budget.
Yes.
Okay,
For
awesome.
sure.
Awesome, okay.
Okay, the report for the arena concession, number 6.
So an RFP was released with no replies to it. And the Schreiber Terrace Bay Figure Skating Club has requested the opportunity to run the concession as a fundraiser to the club. So attached is the lease, the letter, the request letter, and the lease for them to operate out of the concession.
I don't have a problem with them. I've talked to one or two of them, and it's such a great fundraiser for them. They're a big part of the community. They're willing to take it on, and they know they know the insurance and that. I personally, I really don't have a problem with them.
No.
Yeah.
You know, me neither, honestly.
Good.
And they provide a service to the community
Yeah.
because we've got a concession open.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we don't, and they don't use the grill and stuff that's in there However, I think we just need to still, like we talked about, make sure it's maintained in case.
Yes.
One, we don't want that kind of stuff to just like rust out and
True.
whatever, right?
True.
'Cause they keep it pretty clean in there and whatever, but.
Should you ever decide you want to use the grill, we don't want to be turning it on and finding out.
And nothing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And we maintain the annual inspections on the exhaust hood, no
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's a great partnership. The other thing is you have a bit of a typo in your agreement
I will,
on page 2.
okay,
That's it. It's a little thing there, so.
okay. I'll grab the details from you later.
Okay.
Okay, number 7, recreation programmer report.
So I just wanted council to know that I'm really proud of Evan. I presented him with the idea of a Gantt chart to plan 2025 in advance, so that he would have an idea and be more organized with timelines. He has embraced this Gantt chart really well. It's nicely color coded, and I think he's on the right track with that. So he's still working away at rentals, and the recreation committee began planning for a kids Halloween dance in October, venue fair in November, and Christmas events for December, and the winter carnival in February.
He's already on track, meeting with user groups for ice time requests. He's like, this is a really excellent report.
Yeah, he did very well.
Really excellent report. And then attached, Rhonda, is a PRO, Parks and Recreation Ontario. So can you give us some information on this?
So Parks and Recreation Ontario is an organization that obviously you pay a membership fee for. It's kind of like AMCTO, but for recreation. So he hasn't asked in this, he will in the future to become a member of the organization. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it would definitely help him, and it's a good networking opportunity. And the annual fee, you know, if we did municipal, even Kathy could probably utilize some of it for the senior center. It's definitely not a waste of money, I think.
Yeah.
In the future though, he will ask.
So this is like a 2025 thing, but it's giving us some advance information.
Correct.
That's excellent.
He's thinking ahead.
It looks good. No, I mean, they actually, some of the stuff that they do, I mean, it's pretty darn good. Like their training levels.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay.
Okay, number 8. North Shore Harvest covered, food bank penny auction.
So the food bank did apply for funding to pay the rental fee to utilize the pavilion? I think it was, the community hall, sorry, for their auction. They have not received any information back from the funder, whether they were approved or not approved. So they're asking council through grant and aid that they do be allowed to use the community hall free of charge for the event.
Marlene, in the budget variance report that you provided to us last month, it didn't look like we had approved any grant and aids. Do we have any projects coming out of there yet?
Sorry.
I don't believe so. I
think we
I don't
have
recall
all the
that,
money in there.
I don't recall that there were any,
And since
like you guys changed your
application-
process in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, just let me double check the general ledger, but I don't recall.
And we changed how we were gonna do it, and then we're supposed to do a subcommittee,
And
and
the direction after the first application came in was it was to be re-advertised and come back at a later date, a date in June, but it's never come back.
Okay. I don't think we spent any of that money, have we?
no.
Mark,
No, you have not.
we got a full complement in grant and aid. To me, that'd be my first consideration. Do we have money in the fund for it?
Yeah,
Tammy's already created, or Tammy or Marlene, or both of you created a dollar amount, what that dollar amount is for a free hall rental. To assign to that.
Well, the original application went in, didn't the North Shore Harbor, didn't they do an original application?
I
And
think
add it
so.
on there, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
It was for the food hampers in December and for the hall rental.
And they
Okay.
were the only application that came in, right?
And then it was supposed to be re-advertised
Okay.
and then come back.
And then nothing came in after it was re-advertised, so I mean,
It was re-advertised?
Yeah,
I
oh,
don't know.
okay, now I remember, yes, yes, we did. Yeah. Bethany did put that out.
so regardless,
So I think that this should be a yes, we could do this.
well, irregardless, I mean, you take a look around at what's happening in Schreiber and surrounding area, and you can't say, at least the way I look at it, you can't say no right now. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people utilizing,
Our
unfortunately,
resources, Yeah.
Yeah,
and so I think we got to go ahead with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
I'm good with
100%,
that.
yeah, we're all good.
I'm thinking we might have dropped the ball on the whole grant making process.
Yeah.
There's also a second grant and aid request from the North Shore Harvest Cupboard that has never come back to the table.
Yeah, I was,
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
You're-
maybe that should just be something we talk about.
yeah, you're
yeah,
100%.
that's all.
I don't
You could
think,
just make a note at the next meeting to hold
I don't
that
think you'll
process.
have, yeah.
I don't think we're on the issue, I just think we need to.
Yeah, we do,
Get
look at our
ducks in a row.
process. Get our ducks in a row, that's right.
And Ray, are you still part of that? You're off.
I got off once I got elected.
One of the things that we discussed at the municipal league is how do we support organizations like this in our community, so I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to reach out
Yeah.
and see what we could, what the priorities are, what their needs are, and I think it's a good idea, so.
Yeah.
So it's just another discussion that we could have.
Okay.
Okay, number 9, recreation program and report for the Winter Carnival 2025 dates.
So Evan, has, picked the dates of February 20th to the 23rd, for council's approval. And just, so everybody's aware, he did give us today the, report with the finalized, expenditures for the last winter carnival. So that'll be on the next agenda.
Nice.
Including the Heritage Days this year.
Nice. So February 20th to the 23rd.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, that's the standard.
Right? That's the day we can get out, go get advertising, right? Then you can get started with that.
Yeah, well, we had a good chat. I went to the meeting last night, Dave.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we had a good chat about it last night. That is the weekend of the Tournament of Hearts, and it's in Thunder Bay this year, but it's not I mean, we just wanted that conversation, but it's not a big deal.
Okay.
And, I mean, they're gonna lose some people because it's in Thunder Bay, but you move it to another weekend, you're losing people to hockey.
Yeah.
Or something else.
Right, right. So I think the action he's taking is right. Hit a date,
Don't know,
then go. Right?
personally, I would like to see, like we did a couple of years ago, at the end of the book, on the back page of the book, see you again in 2025, February such and such to February such and such. So now you've got it,
Yeah. Awesome.
so. Okay, and I do remember number 10,
Yes.
Treasurer report. So first of all, thank you very much for adding it to the agenda tonight, and I do apologize that it wasn't part of the original package last week. I completely forgot about it, had met with the department heads in early August and had only one part left to do, so thank you for the reminder. This is the 2024 capital budget variance quarterly report to June the 30th of 2024. So these numbers reflect what's in the deal at that time. So it may or may not include, for instance, MasterCard charges if the entry was in there at that time, or anything that we had committed that we haven't received an invoice for would not be reflected in the actual columns here. The majority of the projects have been started or in progress. We had some of them that were complete. And overall to June the 30th, it was looking like we were pretty close to being on budget for most things, though the one item was the asset retirement obligations that came in almost twice the amount that's budgeted. However, it is necessary, a necessary evil.
Because without it, we can't even close up our 2023.
Yeah, it
So
is
it's
a
absolutely
requirement.
necessary.
You don't get clean audit statements, that's not a good thing at all. Likely, our director of operations may want to shed some light on most of these things as she is the department head in charge, if there's any specific questions. I guess that is the question. Are there any
I don't have anything specifically, Mar, other than making a note from January to June, and I realize, right, it's like the first 6 months, that we've only spent 37% of our capital money. And my guess is that the reason it's under the 50 is because we probably haven't hit construction season, would be kind of my bet. So would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I would also, we were, like the ESA upgrades, right? I know that when I checked for the, like to September, to see where we were, there was an addition, I think it was close to another 250 or something that we were spending in there, so.
So it's just because of
It
timing.
could be time, yeah, mostly time. We do know that there, of course, the state of emergency, that's very significant, the cost, because none of those were budgeted in here, so that it won't be necessarily reflected on your September quarterly report, but it will be an added, I'll give you an update on where we are for that when that report comes to council.
Maureen, the state of emergency expense will be separate, right, from the capital budget, it will be rolled in? Can I ask that it be separate?
Well, so we're tracking it separately, for
Yeah.
sure, and it will all depend on whether we're out of it at the end of the year, or we're not out of it,
I see.
whether or not we receive any funding notification. There's different ways that we can report it, but it will depend on timing at
Okay,
the end of the year. But it will be, and for the quarterly report for the capital, it is capital in nature, so I
yes,
won't put it on this spreadsheet, but I
Okay.
will have it in the written report that comes with it.
okay, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And before we move over to Tammy, I guess my last question is, under planning and development, we have that unfunded community revitalization. I realize now with the state of emergency and everything else that's kind of going on, that we kind of have to put that to one side. But will that be looked at by the end of the year so we can start maybe budgeting for 2025 and repaying that?
Well, that will likely come hand in hand with the end of 2023, right? Depending in that conversation, and so, so
Are you thinking
that
of
will answer-
surplus?
That will answer yes.
Oh,
right,
okay.
Is what I would say, is that you'll have that information, before 2025.
Right, so that makes, so then we could say, okay, we can apply that surplus and then pay the difference. Gotcha, okay, perfect. Thanks, Mark. Three surplus.
Okay. Good with it.
No, I don't know, Tammy, if you wanna speak to, like, we have, medical center steps, accessible ramp, not started, but it would soon will be.
It is, yeah.
It just, this because, it's because of the date of this report, right?
Yeah,
Are there, so you take a look at buildings, are there any projects that are complete today that were not on this report?
Yes,
Okay.
the medical center shingles is completed.
All right,
The municipal complex roof is, I'd say, 90% complete. I'm expecting the contractors in town again this week, so they'll wrap that up. So everything else has been, it's in progress or complete.
okay. Wastewater, let's leave that aside for a minute. Water?
Water, everything is in progress or complete, with the exception of the chlorine system critical spare parts.
Okay,
When I questioned them on that, they were waiting for that smart meter to be installed in case there was any differences in the parts that they ordinarily use.
okay.
So they didn't want to order something that was going to become obsolete with that new installation.
Oh, that makes good sense. So the smart meter post chlorination, it says here ordered.
It is installed.
Okay.
Yeah, we just need to have it programmed now and tied in SCADA, and
Okay.
it'll be.
I thought that's what that report said, okay.
Yeah. And the the water treatment plant building roof was looked at. We talked about that at a previous council meeting. We
Right.
lowered the money for that project, but we got it completed.
So that roof is fixed?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the dam intake screens are complete.
Excellent.
As far as recreation goes, I have, I'm probably about 50% through the process for the community hall sign. We're just in the proof stages, so it'll be purchased very soon. The heating upgrade is done, the ice plant is done, the arena roof should be started this week
Okay.
or next. And the asbestos drive is complete.
Excellent.
And for the picnic tables at the Discovery Center, they have been ordered, but, and they are here, but I have not put them together, because at this point,
It's
I
kind of
might as
late.
well wait until the spring.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you, Marlene, for this report. Thanks,
Yeah,
Tim,
thanks.
for the information. I don't know, Dave, do you have any?
No, that's good.
It's gonna be nice, right?
Yeah.
To be going to watch a hockey game in an arena that's really had a lot of repairs. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be awesome.
Okay, move on to communications.
I know you mentioned this already. The Ontario, the letter we got from Ministry for Seniors and Accessibilities, the Ontario Senior Achievement Award, this is something separate and different, correct?
Mhm.
From our own award.
Right.
So the deadline is October 1st.
Mhm.
Can, I
Is that
know-
something you want to give to our senior committee?
well, I think the senior, I talked to the coordinator, senior center coordinator today, and she did put a name forward, so.
Is that the name you were gonna submit? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I thought it was a good one. It was a good fit, so.
No. We're in. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so, I mean, we can talk about it.
Okay,
Okay.
but this is separate from our process
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
our senior
Yeah.
awards. Okay. Support.
Share space.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 15.
Support for, yes, the request for resolution to support for such Terrace Bay,
number 7 too.
Confederation College.
That's from,
I think that's a good one
he
too.
got follow up, he followed up with me.
Okay,
It's good to see we are also getting some support from those meetings.
Mhm. Yeah, nice to see that they were supporting our resolution. Number 11, the request for resolution support from the Township of Brunel about resuming property assessments. While we're at AMO, I had a discussion with representatives from MPAC.
What do they have to say?
Don't expect to see anything till 2027.
Seriously? It's a joke.
Ridiculous.
So, I mean, could we, but I don't know how much weight it's gonna pull or how, do you know what I mean, how effective it's gonna be? They got their own schedule, they got their own things, they're working on things, they're updating, so,
Mhm.
I mean, we could support it if you want, I don't know, I don't know where you
I
get.
think we should.
I think we should.
If we don't,
Okay,
if nobody's making noise, nothing's gonna happen.
all right, so then number 11 as well.
So we're good with it then?
Unless anybody had anything else,
Nobody got anything else? Okay, we have no unfinished business. The other business is, what's everybody's desire for closing date for the splash pad?
thinking December 1st?
Yeah.
No, come on. We didn't have snow last year at the end of December, you could still go out there and play.
Sunday.
Sunday,
Yeah,
this Sunday?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you had 2 mornings already minus
Just,
Thunder Bay,
well,
all Thunder Bays are down.
Yeah, and that's what I was just looking at, right? So they closed all theirs
Yeah.
down already?
Yeah, I mean, and I look over there, the first time I seen somebody there was tonight at, they must have just shut off on them at 6 o'clock, 5 after 6, coming
Oh.
over here. So,
Yeah. It's,
no, I think, I would say, when the guys come in at, Monday morning, that'd be it, so 6 o'clock Sunday.
yeah, it
Is
says,
that doable, Tammy? With
Oh,
your
yeah.
work, guys? Yeah.
says the last ones in Thunder Bay are closing on the 15th. So that's Sunday.
Yeah.
That's Sunday, okay. So, just our day.
yeah.
By closing it down, preventing will be an early, well, not an early start, but it'll be a,
Yeah.
a good start next year. Okay, so that was our last piece of business. So resolution 237 -24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, second by Councilor McGrath, that the meeting now adjourned at 8:36 PM. All those in favor? Carried.